Hello everyone, this is Bryant with SFOTsource.com, your premier guide to Six Flags Over Texas, and we have finally returned with the next episode of our History of Six Flags series. So far, we've covered the historical LaSalle's River Adventure boat ride and the world's first ever log ride, El Aserradero. This time, let's shift gears and head into the 1970s at Six Flags Over Texas. In the 1970s, the park sees massive changes to its skyline with the addition of attractions such as the Texas Shootout and Shockwave, an emphasis on live, quality entertainment with the addition of the Music Mill Amphitheater and the introduction of new, high-thrill attractions including Spinnaker, and the topic of this video, the Big Bend roller coaster. Six Flags Over Texas continued to push for first-of-its-kind and cutting-edge attractions into the 1970s, and the Big Bend roller coaster was certainly no exception. Constructed by the famous Schwarzkopf company, Big Bend would be their first ever Speed Racer roller coaster model. Schwarzkopf had been producing their Jetstar model since the late 1960s, and the Speed Racer was designed to be an extended version of that. Another unique element of the Speed Racer model is that it features toboggan-style cars rather than the single-style car found on the Jetstar. Big Bend was also an ambitious project on the technology side, as the attraction would be constructed with two electric spiral lifts, a first for the Schwarzkopf company. A power rail attached to the track passed current to an electric motor within the coaster car, powering it up the lift versus the standard chain lift seen on most roller coasters. While the design ultimately saved space and made the ride a possibility for Six Flags Over Texas, it also played an important part in the coaster's short lifespan. Big Bend opened in the park's USA section on June 20th, 1971. Constructed in the previous home of the Jet Set attraction, Big Bend would utilize the past attraction's queue structure with its track layout spanning near the outer edge of the park towards the Croft Puppet Theater. In comparison to today's present park layout, the station sat roughly where Bugs Bunny Boomtown's train cars are located. Lift 1 stood across the pathway from Taz's Tornado Swings, while Lift 2 was situated close to Pandemonium's ride station. The ride layout primarily traveled throughout the present-day Aquaman Powerwave and Pandemonium locations. Standing 81 feet tall, it was Six Flags Over Texas's biggest roller coaster to date. Lasting just over a minute and a half, riders would travel at a top speed of 52 miles per hour along 2,876 feet of track. The ride's name, Big Bend, was the perfect fit with its spiraling lift hills and swooping turns. Of course, the name also paid homage to Southwest Texas's Big Bend National Park, which was established in 1944. The cutting-edge roller coaster was a huge hit for Six Flags Over Texas, with wait times sometimes exceeding 3 hours. Ready to go for a ride? Here's a POV of the legendary Big Bend roller coaster. With its unique lift hills and uncommon trains, Big Bend provided quite the unique ride experience. After leaving the station, guests would wind up to the first spiral lift hill. Once at the top, their train would travel down an exciting first drop and straight into a banked turn. Guests would find themselves traveling through a series of drops and banked turns that came quite close to the ground, adding to the intensity. Soon enough, the train would begin its travel up the ride's second spiral lift hill. Once at the top, riders experience one of the ride's most intense drops, followed by a few more twists and turns before making their way back into the ride's station. Hourly capacity was estimated at around 600 people, which contributed to the excruciating wait time for guests. On top of its not-so-great capacity, the cutting-edge spiral lift hills proved to be a nightmare for the maintenance department. Combining the downtime with low capacity meant that the ride wasn't exactly set up to be a long-term staple in the lineup at Six Flags Over Texas. In July of 1982, a little over a year after its debut, Big Bend derailed, creating myths that are still talked about today. But no, nobody ever died riding the attraction. With the opening of Schwarzkopf's popular Shockwave roller coaster in 1978, it was time to retire Big Bend. Big Bend's final operating day at Six Flags Over Texas was November 25th, 1979. Today, Big Bend is still a huge part of Six Flags Over Texas and roller coaster enthusiasts' nostalgia. If you ask anyone about their 1970s experiences at the park, Big Bend will surely come up in conversation. The park even references the path between Bugs Bunny Boomtown and Cloud Bouncer as the Big Bend Walkway. Even into the mid-2010s, footers for Big Bend could still be seen in the park's children's area prior to its 2014 remodel and along the Big Bend Walkway. These days, however, they've all either been removed or covered up. After its removal, Big Bend was sent to Six Flags Over Mid-America, which in present day is known as Six Flags St. Louis. The intention was for it to operate at the park, but poor storage conditions made its structure unusable. It is said that for a time, Big Bend's trains could be seen from the lift hill of Six Flags St. Louis's Screamin' Eagle roller coaster. Though not exactly the same as Big Bend, two Schwarzkopf Speed Racer models are still operating in the world, with the easiest to get to being the Whizzer at Six Flags Great America. Did you ever get a chance to ride Big Bend at Six Flags Over Texas? If so, share your memories with us in the comments below. What other topics or attractions would you like to see us discuss as part of our History of Six Flags series? Make sure to also check out our Decade in Review series, which was recently fully completed for both Six Flags Over Texas and Six Flags Fiesta Texas. Of course, a full listing of past attractions, along with an incredibly in-depth history timeline of Six Flags Over Texas, can be found over at sfotsource.com. We thank y'all for watching, take care, and we'll see you on our next theme park adventure.